What's your most gatekeeping culinary opinion? If you change a recipe when you make it, you're not allowed to rate it in the reviews without making the original. Nothing worse than someone rambling about the 14 changes they made to a recipe, and then giving it a 3-star. Burning shit doesn't make it Cajun. Anthony Bourdain was right, butter is the secret ingredient. I think everyone, both food service workers and general public, should take a food safety course. If your Middle Eastern Mediterranean place serves bad or bland hummus, I'm not even going to bother with the rest of your menu. If you can't get the basics right, don't waste my time. Most people's knives are so dull as to be next to useless. If you don't allow chicken to brown when you're pan frying it, just don't. Wash your filthy hands. I don't want food poisoning again. Also, if you use a glass cutting board, we can't be friends. You cannot trust your oven thermometer. Get a separate one and use it to calibrate your oven. Mine will tell me it's hot about 100 degrees before it's actually at temp. Very annoying. I've done many a barbecue contest back home in Texas. The best wood to use in my opinion is pecan. Celery is not just as good when used as a replacement for onion. Will, you fucking monster. Lemon and lime have two very different flavors. My entire family seems to think that they taste the same and will substitute one for another. Freshly ground black pepper is so much better than pre-ground like the stuff in shakers at restaurants. I have a few about Cajun food. X200B jambalaya is a dry rice dish. If someone is serving a sauce over rice and calling it jambalaya, they have no idea what that dish should be. X200B Cajun does not equal so spicy it can't be eaten. Most Cajun food is full of flavor and not all that spicy. X200B I have been to a few restaurants and seen dishes to the effect of pasta with Cajun sauce. I don't know WTF Cajun sauce is, but in all my years, no one in my family ever made it or heard of it. If you can't take a full bite of your sandwich or burger in one go, it is a fundamental failure. If your sandwich or burger requires a skewer to maintain integrity, it has fundamentally failed. If you want more filling, scale horizontally, not vertically. If you don't eat vegetables, I assume you're emotionally immature. While recipes are useful, folks should prioritize why things work in a recipe over just memorizing a recipe. MSG makes average food delicious, and takes delicious food over the top. Smashing a fistful of tater tots and pressing them onto a plate isn't a hash brown, Greg. Stop calling mayo with anything mixed into aioli. Please scrape the food off your chopping board with the non-cutting edge of your knife. That is all. I'm of the opinion that you can do whatever the fuck you want with food, but if you fundamentally change a dish, you have to change its name. It's all about expectations. If I go into a restaurant and order a carbonara, then when it arrives they say, oh, we make it with pepperoni snack sausages and cream cheese, then it's no longer a fucking S. Not necessarily gatekeeping, but things are called things for a reason. Imagine the chaos if we just abandon on people. Most recipes you find online use way too little spices. 1 teaspoon of cumin? Unless it's a meal for one GTFO. It's not real gatekeeping unless it comes from the Gate region of France. You shouldn't review a recipe if you didn't follow it. This is mostly aimed at online sites where people say they didn't like the recipe but changed half the ingredients and cooked it differently. Expensive high-grade tomatoes are always worth it. Homemade whipped cream is and always will be better than the fake store-bought stuff. 99% of the flour tortillas sold in U.S. grocery stores are preservative-filled trash and ruin whatever Mexican dish they're used in. Good tortillas should only have like 4 ingredients: water, flour, salt, lard, oil. The only exceptions are the raw tortillas made by Tortillaland and a few other companies. But mass-produced tortillas taste like rubber and chemicals to me. I hate them. My friend was in Maine. Stopped at a place and their chicken parm was chicken nuggets with ketchup and American cheese. If you told me the name, I would Molotov cocktail that place so that culinary abomination could never be made there again. A shit ton of condiments on burgers doesn't better tasting. Seasoning without measurements is way more fun than seasoning with measurements. I've stopped caring about teaspoons and tablespoons and just throw stuff into the pan until it tastes good. Fresh thyme is the answer. Blending a tub of Cool Whip with a block of cream cheese and throwing it in a pie crust does not make cheesecake. Call it something else. That shit ain't cheesecake. Full stop. You can't fucking caramelize onions in less than 20 fucking minutes. I don't give a flying fuck what the fuck you think you're doing or how you fucking think you're going to hack this. It's not fucking caramelized. It just fucking isn't. Angry Ramsay exit. Life is too short for bad bread. I refuse to buy it in those Wonder Bread type sleeves in the durable baked goods aisle. I always go for the naturally leavened loaves in the bakery. They don't last as long, but you can keep them frozen and thaw slices as needed. Grilled cheese must be buttery. 1 piece of garlic is never enough. People eat the fast versions of food for different reasons than the authentic versions of food. People don't eat Kraft mac and cheese and expect it to be the best they've ever had. They eat it because it's easier to make than an actual homemade mac and cheese. Sometimes your brain just craves the weird powdered cheese flavor from Kraft, and sometimes it wants the real cheese flavors that come from homemade mac and cheese. Both can be good in their own categories, but shaming people for eating non-authentic versions of food is just weird and elitist. Edit cause people keep saying it. I'm aware that this isn't gatekeeping. I typed this out and posted it without realizing that I mixed up gatekeeping and controversial. Both questions come up on this sub so often that I didn't even think about the difference until a few people pointed it out. Mixed greens is not an acceptable substitute for lettuce. Iceberg, romaine, green leaf, butter on a hamburger. The point of the lettuce is for texture, so you want a mild flavor and high crispiness. Mixed green misses the mark on both points. Casserole is a perfectly fine way to meal prep, and while some can be bland or TikTok bait, they're often hella good. Shepherd's pie with beef isn't shepherd's pie. It's cottage pie. Many commenters don't understand what gatekeep is. Enchiladas are rolled, not stacked. Measure garlic with your heart. Learn the 5 mother sauces. People will start to think you're a gourmet chef. Burn marks from taking food out of the oven with just a thin towel. Your bare hands are not badges of honor. Protect yourself and wear some damn gloves. Posting a video on social media of cooking some stupid crap like Kraft mac and cheese, throwing it into a pan, topped with crushed spicy Cheetos, and throwing the video on social media with a bunch of hashtags is not a food hack, and it does not mean you can cook. Quite the opposite. Emo. Tin foil can be used both ways. It makes no difference. The smooth and matte sides are from the manufacturing process. I grew up around greasy truck stops. My mom was a waitress at one and my grandma was a long-time waitress at multiple cafes in our area, so needless to say I grew up eating a lot of cheeseburgers. Every time I try a new non-fast food related restaurant, I always order a cheeseburger first. It's one of the easiest food products that can be pushed out of a kitchen, and if what they're making is messed up, then I knew I can't trust that kitchen. If you put cream into your carbonara, it is not carbonara anymore. If something's missing and you can't put your finger on it, it's acid. Add lemon, vinegar, etc. Edit missed the point on gatekeeping. Still true though. Propane will never be as good as charcoal. Buy the best knives you can afford. You only need 3 chefs, bread, and paring. Keep the chefs and pairing sharp. People who actually only like 2 foods should stop pretending they're picky eaters. I understand people having problems with certain textures or types of flavors. For instance, someone saying I usually don't like spicy things is fine, or if it were sour or too sweet I could accept that as well. It's fine to not like the gritty texture of some vegetable when cooked some way, or to dislike the smeary texture that fat-rich food can sometimes have. However, as a Midwesterner specifically, I have met so many people who literally act as if they cannot eat anything but mac cheese, potatoes, and steak. These same people then look outward at the entire rest of food culture and say I don't like those weird things, I'm picky with what I eat. No, you are a baby, sir, and you are still eating exclusively what your mother fed you as a little boy so that you stay that way. I know I have no right to be upset with what other people decide to put in their bodies, but y'all asked me to gatekeep and folks like this get to me. Your dinner of cheap steak cooked to death with canned corn and powdered gravy has no place on my Facebook. I love a lazy easy dinner too, but I don't make people fucking know about it. Glass stovetops are absolute shit. The limes should be cut thinner. Recipe measurements are not a science. Close enough is fine 90 of the time, so stop using 11 different measuring spoons for every recipe. Shepherd's pie has fucking sheep in it. If you put beef in it, it's a goddamn cottage pie. You filthy fucking animal. Learn how to cut a damn onion. Putting bacon in everything you make doesn't make you a chef. If you are cooking burgers and hot dogs on a grill, you are not barbecuing. That's just grilling. Ciabatta is the only bread that makes perfect croutons. Seriously though, even when soaked through with soup or dressing, ciabatta croutons keep their shape and don't disintegrate. There is no shame in using a meat thermometer to get the temp you want. Replacing ricotta cheese with cottage cheese in lasagna should land you in jail.
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.